Human Mode introduces state-of-the-art vocalized auditory feedback system utilizing advanced neural audio modeling technology. Each interaction triggers expertly recorded human UI interactions, delivering a hyper-realistic tactile auditory experience. Immerse yourself in the humanized future of music creation.
One, two, three, four.
Experience ultimate serenity in cat mode, where each interface engagement generates meticulously sampled feline vocalizations, engineered for maximum emotional resonance. Cat mode enhances your workflow through intuitive auditory companionship, ensuring creative harmony and inspiration. .4.1 is still in early beta, but we can't wait to iron out the remaining bugs with you. 'Cause together, we make sound decisions. Soundpaint 4.1 proudly unveils the revolutionary BLIP protocol. BLIP stands for Button Level Interaction Protocol, a quantum leap in user interface sonification. BLIP transcends standard auditory feedback, triggering sophisticated audio responses when you interact with the interface or move your cursor, providing an unparalleled sonic immersion and precision-driven feedback. BLIP features 3 distinct modes: sci-fi mode, human mode, and cat mode. Let's dive deeper into each one. Enter sci-fi mode, crafted by cinematic sound design veterans. Every interaction delivers futuristic, sci-fi inspired audio, immersing you in subtle tension and precision. Human Mode introduces state-of-the-art vocalized auditory feedback system utilizing advanced neural audio modeling technology. Each interaction triggers expertly recorded human UI interactions, delivering a hyper-realistic tactile auditory experience. Immerse yourself in the humanized future of music creation.
One, two, three, four.
Experience ultimate serenity in cat mode, where each interface engagement generates meticulously sampled feline vocalizations, engineered for maximum emotional resonance. Cat mode enhances your workflow through intuitive auditory companionship, ensuring creative harmony and inspiration. .4.1 is still in early beta, but we can't wait to iron out the remaining bugs with you. 'Cause together, we make sound decisions. Soundpaint 4.1 proudly unveils the revolutionary BLIP protocol. BLIP stands for Button Level Interaction Protocol, a quantum leap in user interface sonification. Blip transcends standard auditory feedback, triggering sophisticated audio responses when you interact with the interface or move your cursor, providing an unparalleled sonic immersion and precision-driven feedback. Blip features 3 distinct modes: sci-fi mode, human mode, and cat mode. Let's dive deeper into each one. Enter sci-fi mode. Crafted by cinematic sound design veterans, every interaction delivers futuristic, sci-fi inspired audio, immersing you in subtle tension and precision. Human mode introduces state-of-the-art vocalized auditory feedback system utilizing advanced neural audio modeling technology. Each interaction triggers expertly recorded human UI interactions, delivering a hyper-realistic tactile auditory experience. Immerse yourself in the humanized future of music creation.
One, two, three, four.
Experience ultimate serenity in cat mode, where each interface engagement generates meticulously sampled feline vocalizations, engineered for maximum emotional resonance. Cat mode enhances your workflow through intuitive auditory companionship, ensuring creative harmony and inspiration. Four point one is still in early beta, but we can't wait to iron out the remaining bugs with you. 'Cause together, we make sound decisions. Soundpaint 4.1 proudly unveils the revolutionary Blip protocol. Blip stands for Button Level Interaction Protocol, a quantum leap in user interface sonification. Blip transcends standard auditory feedback, triggering sophisticated audio responses when you interact with the interface or move your cursor, providing an unparalleled sonic immersion and precision-driven feedback. Blip features 3 distinct modes: sci-fi mode, human mode, and cat mode. Let's dive deeper into each one. Enter sci-fi mode. Crafted by cinematic sound design veterans, every interaction delivers futuristic, sci-fi inspired audio, immersing you in subtle tension and precision. Human mode introduces state-of-the-art vocalized auditory feedback system utilizing advanced neural audio modeling technology. Each interaction triggers expertly recorded human UI interactions, delivering a hyper-realistic tactile auditory experience. Immerse yourself in the humanized future of music creation.
One, two, three, four.
Experience ultimate serenity in cat mode, where each interface engagement generates meticulously sampled feline vocalizations, engineered for maximum emotional resonance. Cat mode enhances your workflow through intuitive auditory companionship, ensuring creative harmony and inspiration. 4.1 is still in early beta, but we can't wait to iron out the remaining bugs with you. 'Cause together, we make sound decisions. Soundpaint 4.1 proudly unveils the revolutionary blip protocol. Blip stands for Button Level Interaction Protocol, a quantum leap in user interface sonification. Blip transcends standard auditory feedback, triggering sophisticated audio responses when you interact with the interface or move your cursor, providing an unparalleled sonic immersion and precision-driven feedback. Blip features 3 distinct modes: sci-fi mode, human mode, and cat mode. Let's dive deeper into each one. Enter sci-fi mode. Crafted by cinematic sound design veterans, every interaction delivers futuristic, sci-fi inspired audio, immersing you in subtle tension and precision. Human mode introduces state-of-the-art vocalized auditory feedback system utilizing advanced neural audio modeling technology. Each interaction triggers expertly recorded human UI interactions, delivering a hyper-realistic tactile auditory experience. Immerse yourself in the humanized future of music creation.
One, two, three, four.
Experience ultimate serenity in cat mode, where each interface engagement generates meticulously sampled feline vocalizations, engineered for maximum emotional resonance. Cat mode enhances your workflow through intuitive auditory companionship, ensuring creative harmony and inspiration. Four 4.1 is still in early beta, but we can't wait to iron out the remaining bugs with you. 'Cause together, we make sound decisions. Soundpaint 4.1 proudly unveils the revolutionary blip protocol. Blip stands for Button Level Interaction Protocol, a quantum leap in user interface sonification. Blip transcends standard auditory feedback, triggering sophisticated audio responses when you interact with the interface or move your cursor, providing an unparalleled sonic immersion and precision-driven feedback. Blip features 3 distinct modes: sci-fi mode, human mode, and cat mode. Let's dive deeper into each one. Enter sci-fi mode. Crafted by cinematic sound design veterans, every interaction delivers futuristic, sci-fi inspired audio, immersing you in subtle tension and precision. Human mode introduces state-of-the-art vocalized auditory feedback system utilizing advanced neural audio modeling technology. Each interaction triggers expertly recorded human UI interactions, delivering a hyper-realistic tactile auditory experience. Immerse yourself in the humanized future of music creation.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Experience ultimate serenity in cat mode, where each interface engagement generates meticulously sampled feline vocalizations, engineered for maximum emotional resonance. Cat mode enhances your workflow through intuitive auditory companionship, ensuring creative harmony and inspiration. Four point one is still in early beta, but we can't wait to iron out the remaining bugs with you. 'Cause together, we make sound decisions. Soundpaint 4.1 proudly unveils the revolutionary blip protocol. Blip stands for Button Level Interaction Protocol, a quantum leap in user interface sonification. Blip transcends standard auditory feedback, triggering sophisticated audio responses when you interact with the interface or move your cursor, providing an unparalleled sonic immersion and precision-driven feedback. Blip features 3 distinct modes: sci-fi mode, human mode, and cat mode. Let's dive deeper into each one. Enter sci-fi mode. Crafted by cinematic sound design veterans, every interaction delivers futuristic, sci-fi inspired audio, immersing you in subtle tension and precision. Human mode introduces state-of-the-art vocalized auditory feedback system utilizing advanced neural audio modeling technology. Each interaction triggers expertly recorded human UI interactions, delivering a hyper-realistic tactile auditory experience. Immerse yourself in the humanized future of music creation.
One, 2, 3, 4.
Experience ultimate serenity in cat mode, where each interface engagement generates meticulously sampled feline vocalizations, engineered for maximum emotional resonance. Cat mode enhances your workflow through intuitive auditory companionship, ensuring creative harmony and inspiration. Four point one is still in early beta, but we can't wait to iron out the remaining bugs with you. 'Cause together, we make sound decisions. Soundpaint 4.1 proudly unveils the revolutionary blip protocol. Blip stands for Button Level Interaction Protocol, a quantum leap in user interface sonification. Blip transcends standard auditory feedback, triggering sophisticated audio responses when you interact with the interface or move your cursor, providing an unparalleled sonic immersion and precision-driven feedback. Blip features 3 distinct modes: sci-fi mode, human mode, and cat mode. Let's dive deeper into each one. Enter sci-fi mode. Crafted by cinematic sound design veterans, every interaction delivers futuristic, sci-fi inspired audio, immersing you in subtle tension and precision. Human Mode introduces state-of-the-art vocalized auditory feedback system utilizing advanced neural audio modeling technology. Each interaction triggers expertly recorded human UI interactions, delivering a hyper-realistic tactile auditory experience. Immerse yourself in the humanized future of music creation.
One, two, three, four.
Experience ultimate serenity in cat mode, where each interface engagement generates meticulously sampled feline vocalizations, engineered for maximum emotional resonance. Cat mode enhances your workflow through intuitive auditory companionship, ensuring creative harmony and inspiration. Four point one is still in early beta, but we can't wait to iron out the remaining bugs with you. 'Cause together, we make sound decisions. Soundpaint 4.1 proudly unveils the revolutionary BLIP protocol. BLIP stands for Button Level Interaction Protocol, a quantum leap in user interface sonification. BLIP transcends standard auditory feedback, triggering sophisticated audio responses when you interact with the interface or move your cursor, providing an unparalleled sonic immersion and precision-driven feedback. BLIP features 3 distinct modes: sci-fi mode, human mode, and cat mode. Let's dive deeper into each one. Enter sci-fi mode, crafted by cinematic sound design veterans. Every interaction delivers futuristic, sci-fi inspired audio, immersing you in subtle tension and precision. Human Mode introduces state-of-the-art vocalized auditory feedback system utilizing advanced neural audio modeling technology. Each interaction triggers expertly recorded human UI interactions, delivering a hyper-realistic tactile auditory experience. Immerse yourself in the humanized future of music creation.
One, two, three, four.
Experience ultimate serenity in cat mode, where each interface engagement generates meticulously sampled feline vocalizations, engineered for maximum emotional resonance. Cat mode enhances your workflow through intuitive auditory companionship, ensuring creative harmony and inspiration. Four point one is still in early beta, but we can't wait to iron out the remaining bugs with you. 'Cause together, we make sound decisions. Soundpaint 4.1 proudly unveils the revolutionary BLIP protocol. BLIP stands for Button Level Interaction Protocol, a quantum leap in user interface sonification. Blip transcends standard auditory feedback, triggering sophisticated audio responses when you interact with the interface or move your cursor, providing an unparalleled sonic immersion and precision-driven feedback. Blip features 3 distinct modes: sci-fi mode, human mode, and cat mode. Let's dive deeper into each one. Enter sci-fi mode. Crafted by cinematic sound design veterans, every interaction delivers futuristic, sci-fi inspired audio, immersing you in subtle tension and precision. Human mode introduces state-of-the-art vocalized auditory feedback system utilizing advanced neural audio modeling technology. Each interaction triggers expertly recorded human UI interactions, delivering a hyper-realistic tactile auditory experience. Immerse yourself in the humanized future of music creation.
One, two, three, four.
Experience ultimate serenity in cat mode, where each interface engagement generates meticulously sampled feline vocalizations, engineered for maximum emotional resonance. Cat mode enhances your workflow through intuitive auditory companionship, ensuring creative harmony and inspiration. Four point one is still in early beta, but we can't wait to iron out the remaining bugs with you. 'Cause together, we make sound decisions. Soundpaint 4.1 proudly unveils the revolutionary Blip protocol. Blip stands for Button Level Interaction Protocol, a quantum leap in user interface sonification. Blip transcends standard auditory feedback, triggering sophisticated audio responses when you interact with the interface or move your cursor, providing an unparalleled sonic immersion and precision-driven feedback. Blip features 3 distinct modes: sci-fi mode, human mode, and cat mode. Let's dive deeper into each one. Enter sci-fi mode. Crafted by cinematic sound design veterans, every interaction delivers futuristic, sci-fi inspired audio, immersing you in subtle tension and precision. Human mode introduces state-of-the-art vocalized auditory feedback system utilizing advanced neural audio modeling technology. Each interaction triggers expertly recorded human UI interactions, delivering a hyper-realistic tactile auditory experience. Immerse yourself in the humanized future of music creation.
One, two, three, four.
Experience ultimate serenity in cat mode, where each interface engagement generates meticulously sampled feline vocalizations, engineered for maximum emotional resonance. Cat mode enhances your workflow through intuitive auditory companionship, ensuring creative harmony and inspiration. 4 point.
What do you guys mean that this is all a joke? Like, I thought it was a good idea. I was like, you could be inside of a movie and like kind of like you're diffusing a bomb. And what would that workflow be like? Like, I would always feel like I was doing something important. Anyway, I had a lot of fun with the 4.1. I almost think sometimes like having a really, really bad idea can turn into a good one. And that said, I got the horrible idea of, I just did it. First strike. In the last stream, I said so many times, and it was pointed out, and rightfully so. And it's gonna come to an end. I've said it twice now already. Third time. This is a tequila bottle. A good tequila at least. So if I get super hammered on this stream, you guys will know why. And this is the, let me see here. This is the glass. You guys can't quite see it. This is a Cheers Dave on it. So before we get started, okay, I just said it again. So here we go. Wow. I gotta say, I've not had tequila at like 11 a.m. before, and especially not together with my coffee either. This one should be interesting. Hello, everybody. Trying to learn in real time is a hard thing. Cheers, Dirk, as well. Cheers to all of you guys. Today should be fun. See, I did it again. Wow. Wow. Where did we begin? We have a lot to cover today. See, I say it so much, I can't even drink if I say it like, maybe I skip every second or I'm gonna get very hammered by the end of this stream. Today, we're gonna go through our Zeus Drummer, which we just released. We're gonna look at some user feedback. We are gonna play with our new disco guitars, which Jeff is here for. Well, Jones is here. Hi, wow, thank you for dropping by, man. Hope to see you soon. Hope to see you soon. And for everyone else, before we get started, I just have one thing I want to say. This was something Tanya and I discussed about yesterday. As I mentioned, it says Cheers Dave on this shot glass here. And Dave Smith had this beautiful thing about drinking tequila. In fact, I don't think we would ever have worked with him had it not been for tequila. I know it's a strange thing to say, but he used to bring tequila to NAMM and had tequila at his booth. And even though you're not supposed to bring alcohol to NAMM, he did it anyway. And it took us probably 8 years and a lot of tequila to talk to Dave about how to create a physical hardware synthesizer together. And we ended up doing that. Dave passed a couple of years ago. I think about him every day. He was one of my mentors. And I just wanted to start today just with a moment of appreciation for someone who really meant a lot to me in my life and really helped shape Soundpaint in many ways as well. And I hope all of us just, here we go. I can say, and take a sip on that one. I hope all of us can appreciate the mentors that have gone through our life and reach out and just thank them. I'd say, again. It's just important to me, and it's something I try to do once a month, just to reach out. There's a lot of people that have helped me in my life, and just to be appreciative. Anyway, welcome to today's stream. It's really hard not to say when you're live streaming. I guess it's one's imperfections on display. Speaking of imperfections, let's start it out here by reading a couple of comments. We have this thing about when we start the streams that we'll read like social comments in real time. And I haven't really looked so much at them yet. So we'll see what, man, you guys see it? Like, I'll either have to take very small sips or this is gonna come to an end. It is a really good tequila, but it doesn't go very well with coffee. I did an experiment the other day, by the way. This is completely irrelevant before we get into it. But I was trying to mix tequila and coffee together to see if that worked. That's a bad idea as well. Lots of bad ideas. This one here we go. We have a variety of user feedback on rotation. Every week we'll normally just address some of the comments that are there. They're very useful sometimes. Sometimes there's a lot to be learned from them. And you guys are welcome to discuss on the drink, Tanya says. Right, there was another one. This is going to be a long stream if it continues this way. We actually got an email yesterday. Someone said that I had fallen to new childish depths by doing this thing about punishing myself online. We shall see how it goes. So we got some user feedback rolling. You guys can see it as well. I wish Soundpaint was a bit more fluid. I own disco strings, which sounds great. But essentially saying like, I have a great machine and it's a great product, but it's a little bit convoluted and hard to use. Let's just take a look at disco strings and discuss what we're actually seeing here, because I think it's a valid piece of feedback. So these are our disco strings. And as you can see, there's a lot of different directories here. We have microphones in different directories. And one question that comes up is like, why don't you guys have microphone positions in the engine? We are working on that. It's valid feedback. It's a beautiful library. I love our disco strings, but it could be more organized. There are pluses and minuses to having a completely modular engine. The beautiful things, we can do whatever we want inside of this engine. The not so beautiful thing sometimes is that we can do everything we want. This also reminds me about Dave. Dave had a beautiful mind for simplicity in his products. For any of you guys who've used any of Dave's products, they were always so simplistic. No submenus. When you touch something, it just worked. It's a lot. D-Zone says, Dave Smith was an absolute legend. I've one of his last hardware synthesizers on DSI. What Yamaha did, giving the brand name back, was a lovely thing to do. It meant a lot to him as well. For those of you guys who don't know, Yamaha owned the name Sequential, but gave it back to Dave for free in the later years. And it was just a beautiful thing to do, really. Like, we need more of that in the world. We really do. Keep posting on the chat. I have it right here. Also some feedback we got from the last stream. Like, I'm going to be more mindful of every comment here. So as you guys can see, there's just different comments. People loved the cat thing as well. Some people thought it was real. I was really trying to make it as real as possible. Someone says that I must have had a hard time reading the over-the-top script when we did the video, and I did. It was hard to keep a straight face. On the other hand, I was like, maybe this is a good idea. Just maybe this is a good idea. But let you guys figure out whether it's a good idea or not. And the response was sadly overwhelming, that this was a horrible idea. Therein lies the fun. But also your price point. Someone says here, our no sales policy makes being customer so easy. Tanya and I have had many discussions in regards to Soundpaint and being the whole model that was there. Well, you got feel free to point out when it happens. Fabian says, hell, I hate complexity in soundware, and I have to say I never got lost on disco strings. I use it right out of the box, and results was what I was after. Thank you, man. I feel the same when I use it, but I do feel there's always ways to improve. I think for a lot of people, when they see a user interface like we have, which is completely modular, it can be a little bit overwhelming at times. Eric says, luckily it is a sip for instead of a shot. Yeah, I mean, if it was shot, Eric, I would already be drunk by now. So I don't know. Does it make sense for you guys to have this feedback rolling here? We're still testing out all the different things here. Someone says here, probably okay for vintage tracks, disco pop, but disco is too cheesy for orchestral and cinematic. Why don't we put that comment to the test? Why don't we put that comment to a test here? Let me clear my loop here, and let's see if we can make something cinematic with the disco strings. I'm just going to remove my tequila bottle from the table here and switch my angle. Let's are here. Right. So disco strings. Let's make something cinematic. Let me see. I got my looper over here. You guys can see it all. Okay, we're good. Something cinematic with our disco strings. Oh, really? Hold on. Someone says you got a drink, bro. Did I miss one? Just remind me. I'll take it. Do you guys have any recommendations for what articulation of disco strings we should use to create something cinematic? For cinematic, we probably need a little more reverb in this one here. Maybe you should do some short notes instead. So many things going on here. Too many things. Anyway, taking disco strings for the ride. So Fabian says, with the right arrangement, the right mixing and reverb, they can sound like chamber strings. They really can. I agree. Chris says, I'd like to ask a set question. What is a good deep sample instrument? Let's keep talking about the simulation of synthesizers on the same synth, tons of gigabytes, and not tons of gigabyte libraries. There was the again. It is a nice tequila. Chris, how do we discuss the gigabyte subject? I mean, in certain ways, like size matters when it comes to samples, and in another way, it doesn't. Like, it doesn't matter how many gigabytes you have of stuff that doesn't work, but it does matter if you have content that is really like just well sampled, where you really go that extra mile in terms of like just trying to port something. I mean, for example, I have the Juno loaded right here. If I just play this arpeggiator for you here, there's so much natural variance in the sound. And it really helps. Let me give you an even tequila style king in better example here. If I take a sample that only has one sample in it, like no round robin, no depth in the sampling here, I'll just take a simple. See if I can find a single drum kit without any round robin. This one maybe. Let's see here. It's easy to hear. You can hear what we call the machine gun effect here. This is what happens when we don't sample deeply. You can hear the sound, right? It's just repeating. And that may have it may warrant its thing. But if I take like, and there was another, if I take like an 808, 2 seconds. Try to listen to the hi-hat on this one here. You hear how it's not hard in the ear? We're just listening to, like, you know, machine gun. This is the same sample playing over and over. And this is a sample with variance. All of a sudden it's sort of easier on the ear. It's because there's micro variations by every single sample. This is really the argument for depth. And it's easiest just to describe on something as simple as a sound like this, but it really goes for all instruments, in my opinion. It's an appreciation of nuance, of detail, of imperfection, if you will. Then 808, these are all analog chips. Every time voltage goes through them, they become a little bit different, especially as they get older and vintage. That's the difference. when you put many different ingredients together that has this capacity versus this one, it really makes a difference. That's the best argument I can make for why to sample deeper. We may not hear it so much at a one-to-one basis, but we do hear it once we get deeper into it. Speaking of that, we have our Zeus Drummer that we just released this week. Maybe this would be a good time to exemplify this notion as well. So, for example, when you play drums, let's see here, my transposition's right. We can have a hi-hat. Here, let me just switch to another angle here. We can have a hi-hat. This is how we normally have them. And our foot, and our open. But with a hi-hat, there's more than that. There's a lot of expressions when you gradually open up your hi-hat. We call this flow note in Soundpaint. I thought it was super important to have, and I do wonder sometimes why a lot of MIDI kids don't have it. Like, you can have, to your point, you can have a gazillion microphones and a 100 gigabyte library. It won't matter if it won't play in the emotional way. For me, emotion on drums has a lot to do with how we express through dynamics, and the hi-hat is unique because it's one of the few things that we can sort of control time with as we open it. So for that reason, you can play it down here. But you can also open up here. Switch, you guys can probably hear plastic more than me. D-Zone points out that, hey, it's great that you have all these drum kits here, but why can't I route it to individual outs? And D-Zone, you're right. And in many ways, that's what we can do in so many different plugins. And we probably should have it, and we probably will have it. In fact, Soundpaint used to be multi-timbral. We actually had 16 different programs in it. We can come back to that. It's also needed for MPE, by the way, which requires 16 MIDI channels. On the other hand, there's so many drum plugins out there that can assign it to each, like whatever, you can assign effects to each of them, and they're all great, and there's a million of them already. For me sometimes, and you'll see that as we go deeper in the video today, I love just having the flow. I just need a kit that really works. These kits have been meticulously mixed. I don't need to think about anything else. The phone is blowing up, I'm just off here. Have you guys turned off? I'm starting to turn off all notifications. I just don't want to deal with notifications. I think it's a horrible idea, by the way. But yeah, they're different strokes. I love having all these kits here, like just right at my fingertips, so I can just like immediately, if I'm looking for a color, like. And they're all mixed. I can just use them right out of the box. That brings me a lot of like immediate joy. But you're not wrong what you're saying, and we really will get in there eventually. We're doing some major, deeper science of Soundpaint that allow for these things in the future. We have all of those components in there already. It's a careful balance between trying to keep it simple and not so simple. I don't know where I was going with that. Drums. What if you created software to unmachine gun single sample nodes by randomizing user-defined filters or something else for each new instance and tons of node-ons, amount tweakable? We can do that. We can modulate things. Let's take the drum we have right here. Not that it's not alive already, but if you really wanted to modulate it, I can put an LFO here on offset, for example. You'll see it move now. That's an interesting effect, actually. Let me try to, I'll put a groove in the arp here. So it's chopping off that initial attack. We can like limit it more. This is a way to like create even more variance in the sample if you want. We can like vary like, you know, pitch as well. We can take another drum kit here. We can morph them. Just try different flavors until we find something we like. That'd be fun to put in there. Michael, you were asking how you can change the tempo in the loops. So in this case here, I just played into the arpeggiator. So you can adjust the tempo right here. You can also sync it to your DAW. Almost. A bit faster. Slower loops are harder to time. And Talobic is asking, can you assign one LFO to modulate another one? I think that's, and let's try it on the drums here, weirdly enough. Let's just find the sound we like here. Okay, this one is nice. So I'm gonna use one note stretch to exemplify this here. So we have a Zeus kit here, and then so if we take this sound here and take, was there an in there? I think there was. So we can take, there was an but I just sipped, I can't drink that fast, sorry. So let's try to modulate time here on this snare thing here. So we can actually go in right now as we're modulating time on this snare. You'll see it goes back and forth like this, but we can say, well, I want to modulate the frequency of this guy here. You right click on it again. So we have two levels of depth now in terms of how deep we can control it. So here on my mod wheel, I can now control how much we're modulating time, the frequency of it. Interesting effect. Does that make any sense? It might be easier just to exemplify this on a synthesizer, actually. If we take like a synth here and say we add a filter to it, and let's say we modulate this filter. but I want to be able to control like how fast it goes on my mod wheel. So I'll right click while I'm in here and add, for example, MIDI CC automation, and that's another layer. So you'll see we have two layers now speaking to each other. So now I can control this wobbliness. Is it possible to create that Björk kind of sound? Björk has a lot of sounds. I always think about like distorted like 808s or 909s. Want to try that? Let's see here. I have like, I think it's a 909 she uses, if I remember right, on one of the famous tracks. Hunter. It's kind of Björkish. Oh yeah, that one before. Let's try that. Chris says, to my heart, I have to say, like the quality of recordings, but I can't see Soundpaint as a drum machine. you can't see Soundpaint as a drum machine. That's interesting. For me, it is a form of drum machine. At least we have a lot of different drum libraries here. I think it is a drum machine, actually. But what is a drum machine? Like if we take there was another one of those. If we take the 808, the most known drum machine of all time, we have all these different parts in here. This one here was recorded through oxidized tape. Sounds like a drum machine. But I get what you mean. Like, for example, the ability to route outs, you could do that on the 808. You can't do that here. Do we really need it? It's interesting with this whole routing and mixing and getting deep into it. Like, some people need it, and there's a million pieces of software out there for it. I've never used it. I've never in my life sit, and that's probably on me, and assign different drums to different outputs. I do it in Soundpaint sometimes because it's actually really easy. I can take, let's just make something right now, and I'll show you what I mean. I like to take different drum kits and combine them in real time. This is one of the sweet spots for me in terms of having everything laid out right in front of me and not having to worry too much about like the engineering of things. So if you take something like, let's find a hi-hat here. So right now we just have the hi-hat rocking. This is the 808. Like this is, in my opinion, the best hi-hat ever made, like for a drum machine. It's not hard in the ear. It sits right in the mix where it needs to sit. But let's say like, okay, I like this, but maybe I want to clap from another drum machine, but let's just listen to the clap here. It really does have a nice clap. But let's just say like, I want like my 909 clap instead. Maybe I want that more punchy bass drum. No. So now we're mixing two different drum machines together, and I can continue to do that. This is most commonly how I make grooves inside of Soundpaint, by combining different drum elements, drum machines, whatever. We can take the, dang, that was two right there. So those are three different drum machines, the 808, the 909, and the 78, side by side. So it's maybe just a different way of thinking about drums. Is it a drum machine, not a drum machine? It's a mean machine. Maybe that's what it is. I just, for me, love being more in real time. You can see right now, grab from here, grab from there. My mind is not overly, obsessed so much about like what we're doing. Oh, Eric Cron, is that what your name? You're right. This one here, this is Phil Collins in the Air Tonight, and this particular he recorded through the 78, but added a chorus pedal with slight stereo phasing on it, so you get sweet stereo. Lisa, on your right, there's a disco drums 2 on my list. You wanna hear it? This is not released yet, but let's try it. Endless fun. I mean, drums for me, since we speak about drums, yes, we have disco drums. We have a lot of it. Speaking of drum machines, my favorite drum machine for the last couple of years, I love the 808 and the 909. They'll always be with me in my repertoire. But the 522, which was a newer version attempting to sort of emulate the 808, is my favorite. It's a little more modern sounding, a little bit bigger sounding. It's just, I mean, even the arpeggiator here. Yeah, your skull is probably being crushed on the Skull Crusher. It is a really, really powerful like drum kit. This particular one I played here is also a little more distorted. Like the kit in its own right sounds like this. It has the best clap, by the way. It's a little more synthetic. There. This is the core kit. So in a way, you could say like, that doesn't sound like much. But when I record these drum machines, I'll do many different versions of them. This one here was routed through what we call analog heat. So very like, distortion is a fine line, particularly when you work with hardware. For me, I don't like distortion so much in its own right. I like when I'm like surfing on the fringes of overdrive and distortion where it's still like musical, lyrical. But there's as much grit in there as there can be. It's so nice. And I find it like very like filmic as well. Let's see here. You'll quickly see me like go through different things. Sometimes I'm like looking in real time when I use Soundpaint. So I'll start something, have it lying there, and then I'll look. And I didn't find a drum that really worked with that cowbell. So I was like, okay, like this didn't work out. Very quick like sketching and drafting. I have something I wanted to talk to you guys about. We've gotten all these beautiful user demos, and I figured out yesterday that it's actually a lot easier to listen to them. And I would love to listen together with you guys. We have like about 15 different user demos that I want to go through. But what I realized in the process as well is that I can actually put them in my looper. So I can use your songs together with Soundpaint. So we can actually mix the whole thing together. So if I, for example, here have my talking camera, you'll see that I have Apple Music here. And I have a variety of different songs that you guys have submitted through the last week or so. So if you want to listen with me, that'd be great. You'll see me capture fragments of the songs and then start composing with them as well, just like we just did, but perhaps a little more elaborately. But first and foremost, this is the intention of just listening to your tracks and then offering some feedback in terms of, there was. Cheers, guys. In terms of discussing music, but before we get into it, let me just preface. The best advice I've ever gotten was to not take advice from people, particularly with music. This is just my opinion. This is as valid as mine. I have a particular set of ears that have been developed through the years, and you have the same. And with that said, let's listen. Just an idea. I'll grab the loop and then try to make something with it. Let's continue listening here. So for me, that metallic sound, like it's hard in my ear, like it's. But if you're going for like cold robotic sound, you nailed it. It's like dark, ominous, metallic techno. All right, I captured that little segment in the looper. So this one here is using our spice drums. There we go again. For me, that metal sound is too hard in my ear. But it's a tricky one with mixing because, like, on one hand, like, you want the mix to stand out. You want it to, like, be pulling your ear somewhere, redirecting your attention. But sometimes, even when I turn the volume down here, that metal sound is very much there. Gonna go to the next one. This is Bendu. So for me in this one, and forgive me if I'm very fast sometimes, but like lack of attention, I hear the computer, I hear the grid. For me, if I play this kind of style, I'll work outside, not quantizing so much. Pardon me, rabbit holes. Back to the demo. It's cute. Actually, I forgot last night. You remember the Spice demo we were just listening to here? Like this one? With the metallic sound. So I actually grabbed the loop last night. It's just a tiny snippet. Fabian says, turn off your mind, relax, and float downstream. You want to try that? All right. Let me try that for a second. Love that comment. Turn off your mind, relax, and float downstream. Let's just do that. We're going to ignore user demos for just a second here. And I'm going to try exactly that. Let my mind go. Was that for flowing downstream? Oh, I still hear I love this library. There's no better music than nature. Right, Scott, you're reminding me. Let's get back to the user demos. We have a lot to listen to. This is Dive by Mindlight. It just works, you know, piano, reverb. I love the beginning. Sometimes with music, think about like Phil Collins in The Air Tonight. It's a fairly mellow track. Once that drum fill comes in, been waiting for so long for it to happen. And it's sort of the highlight of the song, and it's uniquely mixed. It's so much louder if you look at the dB meter. Sometimes like waiting in music, so really to create that tension and release. The challenge here is that it starts super ethereal, but then it very quickly builds up, and then it almost sort of drops again. And I don't feel I feel the buildup is great, but I don't feel as rewarded after it drops. So I think of it as like tension release or almost like EDM music. What I mean is particularly this. Like it's super big. So within 1 minute, we're already there. But then it drops to this. And for me, I don't feel rewarded with that. But I guess it's building up again. But then it drops further down. For me, and this is really a personal preference, I love building longer crescendos and trying to be patient and restraint. I think it. So this kind of works for me. It's very thematic. And there's two things to themes that I often go by. One thing is like the rhythmic structure. Is it thematically rhythmic? Duck, 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 duck. That sort of burns in the brain. So it has a good rhythmic signature. And then it just has enough like interval jumps as well. And it repeats itself. Very important for themes. But it's trying to tell many different stories, and that might be the intention by Mindlight. For me, I love feeling cohesion in scores like that. I feel safe that you're bringing me to somewhere like, yeah, I don't know, a home or something. This one is trying a lot of different things. It's more like a draft to me almost. Did I make one? It's not. Yeah, that would be my feedback in this one, but it's cool. I mean, that intro, like, it always works just like piano and reverb. How many trailers have done this way? No, I didn't get the loop on that one. Right, there's plenty of others. This is a 6-minute demo by Wunsch Machine, Stop Signs. My feedback is a little bit the same in this one here. I hear the machine a lot, like it's quantized, it's on the grid. It's very original. I would try to restrain myself from using quantize so much and play it more in hand. It feels, and maybe it's the intention of the Wunsch Machine, like to sound a little bit machine-like. But it's the machine talking, if you know what I mean. So I have a little bit of a hard time like discerning the voice from the music. There's a lot, like vocal stuff is this whole own dimension in terms of really getting vocals right. There's a lot of stuff going on here. In the dark, you're my only. It is weird, I agree. You know, I probably shouldn't say this because this is like counter to what we do, but I think one of the challenges with VSTs, you guys are talking about them as well, and Soundpaint and any other sampler, is that we have so much. So for that reason, we tend to use a lot. And sometimes it's good to restrain. I think about Beethoven often. Da, 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 da. It took him over 4 years to write that symphony. And the amount of stringency and like self-practice in terms of keeping things as simple as possible and constantly try to reduce. Say the same about mixing. Mixing is really about, does it belong here or not? If it doesn't play a completely intact role, then it needs to go. And it takes practice to do it. And it's hard when we're surrounded by notifications and software and, you know, all that stuff easily becomes many, many layers. I've made this mistake. I can't tell you guys how many times I've made this mistake about thinking that if this is good, gummy bears are good, and pizza is good, then we can just combine the two and it'll be great. Add some caviar on top of that, or tequila and coffee that I tried the other day. I was like, this is gonna be great, tequila and coffee, and it was the worst mix ever. So as a as a man child, I'm still exploring this childish joy of like and punishment of stacking too many things. Fabian says the man who released an example of 66 trombones. You know what, Fabian? I actually wanted it to be 100. And the first project we did was 66 basses, and we couldn't find more pro players, and we were grabbing pro players from surrounding countries, particularly for the 66 tubas. That one was very hard. The players were so happy. This is the first time they were at a tuba convention. I think at least it seemed that way. So everyone was like, we didn't tell them in advance, so they would just be like 66 people, all with tubas showing up. Like, what the fuck? So yeah. I mean, and but then okay, I'm clearly rambling here, but and I know I come back to this one probably in every single video, but sometimes you just get it right. This is a 6 or 7 piece glockenspiel. It's one of the best instruments I've ever sampled, and I was just like, this is what a glockenspiel is supposed to sound like. It's the perfect sound. Aaron, not to advertise my own shit, but like it is, well, I've used it for so long, and it's a secret weapon for many of the pros. We just hit it right, particularly like if you play it softly on the keyboard. It's called Stop Signs. I wish I could understand what he was singing. Like I'm not totally, but interesting. I mean, isn't it beautiful? Like how infinite this field is. Like it never stops. I almost want to kind of, let me see if I can grab something on the looper with this magical track here. Something like that. Next one, Guitar Signs by Buddy EOQ. My feedback is the same. I can hear the machine loosen up on the grid. Now, it may very well be that people want that sound, like that my feedback is completely off. My angle is more of naturalism and realism. I've just heard so many things being quantized, and if I listen to like all the polluted airwaves of AI music right now, it's the same thing. It's like quantized and even more processed, and add auto-tuning to that and a soulless technology, and we get something stiff. So for me, and this is purely for me, I just want to try to break it up, make it more perfectly imperfect. Okay, so I just grabbed this in the looper, and I'm gonna see if I can break it up a little bit. Forgive me. Okay, I love that suggestion. All right, and Talobic is suggesting like let's mash up two different user songs. Let me just try. Hold on. Gotta get the loop right here. One more time. Oh, that's nice. You asked for it. yeah, we can mix use stuff together, or try to at least. That's a good one. I love. Please keep challenging me that way. Me, the entertainment value of doing this for a living is really to explore new things, and sometimes it happens by broken accidents, like a lot of the times. Let's see where our guitar signs here. Okay, next one. Yeah, I could add effects to the sample grabs if I wanted to. It's in the looper, but I kind of want to try to stay like clean that way because we have so much already. I mean, I'm a sucker for the TikTok sounds. Way back. This is 2005. I was in IKEA and I bought this little egg timer and recorded it on my, actually I recorded it on this little guy up here, my little Zoom, same unit. And after that just sort of became a thing, and all of a sudden like the world was full of IKEA clocks. It's obviously gotten a lot deeper since then, but yeah, I hear that here, it's a good track. Oh, the Inception thing. The Inception thing happened way later, and there will probably be different people out there claiming that they were the inventor of the TikTok clock. I mean, if you really want to take it, like I think the first like public real use of it, like I think to hit mainstream, one of them at least, was Ed Kelhoff's theme for 60 Minutes. There's been a lot of clocks out there. It was actually going. Someone is asking if this whole clock thing was triggered by Inception. It probably did, but there was a lot of it even before then. It sort of started sneaking in the early 10s, yeah, a couple of years before it started getting hot. I want to say with Inception, it was particularly like the Brahms thing, and probably the clocks as well, that really like exploded. The one finger composition. It's beautiful. It's, you know, for me, it's hard. Like the whichever solo cello is used here kind of works for me, but it's also one of those things like sometimes maybe just record a real player. And I think this is a beautiful track. I do feel a little bit MIDI on that solo cello. I'm a sucker for arpeggiators, so that I think that's tasteful. It's nice. Sweet. It made me think. I'm so curious to hear what you guys think about this. Just like if you're in a room with someone who speaks too much, forgive me if I do that. I sometimes find that it's important that there's an even balance in the dialogue, that whoever's in the room each get to sort of have an equal amount of time talking, so it's not just someone rambling. I say that because I feel sometimes with music, we tend to use a lot of ingredients and a lot of words when we could actually say it more elegantly with fewer means. And I think it's important to be aware of, particularly with technology. Think about it this way, like all the greatest composers of across time had one thing in common, and that was not having remotely as many means at their disposal and distractions. Like, for example, this stream today, like the door was ringing, I got notifications on my phone, my watch was calling. It's super distracting. Like it's just, it doesn't help. I'm just saying, I think I want to try to become better at like just using fewer words, and even musically speaking as well. It's like when someone cooks, like they select their ingredients. They really cook well with great care. And every decision is thoughtful and plays a role. And every flavor, just like a mix, will stand out. So I can clearly hear, feel, taste what they're offering. That make any sense at all? I hate when people get too preachy, so forgive me. I don't mean to be preachy at all. It's just something in the ethos of minimalism and simplicity. The same thing with graphics. They look at really beautiful design. It's the same thing. It's stringent, clear, thought through. I've been in this weird tantrum lately in terms of just appreciating small things, and more just thinking like, it's not so much the big picture. It's really what the big picture is made of, all these small things. Next demo. Beautiful. This is sort of what I'm talking about. Every element right now is like very simple. Like there's a beautiful dialogue. All the elements are in balance. I mean, Antilopic, there is, this is sort of what AI is for. Antilopic is asking if there's software that could change songs that weren't exactly what you like, but morph into something else. I think this is one of the uses of AI. You can obviously do it in Soundpaint as well. You can actually morph different things together if you use the use assemble import. I think, it's an interesting creative exercise, and it will yield results that you haven't heard before. But for the most part, it will probably be a scattered experience. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, there's so much we can do, and like with AI and everything going on, and it's great. But just sitting in front of a real piano or pick up a guitar, sometimes all we need. Oh, I love that. Nice break right there. Cool. What a beautiful piece. You know, music is it's a language. I said again. I mean, I almost feel I deliberately want to say so I just get another sip. I wonder who figured out tequila first, like some old agave plant, I'm really thirsty. Like, how did that happen? Like, how do you come up? I wonder sometimes it was just an accident that led to like a lot of the good inventions. Well, it was. X-ray being one of them. You guys ever heard like how X-ray was discovered? So Madame Curie's husband apparently was down in the lab one night and claimed he saw a ghost down there. And she couldn't believe it and ran down. She ended up getting 2 Nobel Prizes, one of the great minds of the world. And she could attest that they were seeing something ghostly. They both sadly died from cancer, but what they discovered was X-ray in the process in their lab. Can you imagine? Anyway, as I was saying before, like, music for me is a language. And if I just keep speaking like this all the time, and it becomes so overwhelming. So I tend to listen to music as I listen to someone speak. Ideally, careful choice of words, impeccable timing, the right setup, the right build up, not too long, not too short. Eternal cycle of tension and release, the 2 most important modalities in music. Yeah, that was a nice track. Right, next up is Soundpaint on Machine by Rin. I gotta say, some usernames are really like sophisticated. Rinchocephalian. Oh, there's Terry. Also, we're listening to user demos, and I think it's important to make a distinction between full compositions and demos and drafts. A lot of these I'm getting like they're in a draft-like state, like trying out different ideas. A lot of that is the ethos of Soundpaint as well. We just throw different things out, see what works, and then once we find it, then we hone in. This one for me was a little bit of that. I was like, okay, there's some ideas in here. It's not fully fledged yet. So this sounds like and forgive me if I'm wrong about this, this sounds like the voice is AI generated.
Just the sound of water's clean.
Maybe not. He's doing some things here. I'm in the process myself, always about learning about like vocal work. For me, it's beautiful. I have a little bit of a hard time hearing the clarity of the voice and the words. Seduced by user demos. Next one here. So sweet. Using a variety of our tonal percussion, super sweet. I think last night I took this user demo and actually made something out of it. 2 seconds. Let's see here for a second. Yeah, this one here. So this is the user demo. Then I added some Adastra chamber strings. Chunkerbot says, welcome to our corporate training. Is that what it feels like? Does this feel like corporate training too? Scott says, I've always taken back the advice of trying picture playing the instrument. Filter that loop, that'd be nice. Yeah, I had it right here. Mark says, these are all inspiring. What got me into making cinematic music was the music of Philip Glass. Incidentally, Mr. Glass was donated a Lifetime Achievement Award today. Oh, he was? I didn't know that. Yeah, man, he was he was ahead of his time. I saw something this week that really moved me. The Nobel Prize was given to the godfather of AI. And there's a wonderful interview with him where talks about a little bit in the same vein. You just inspired me with what you just said. He was misunderstood his whole life, and nobody believed that neural nets were ever going to pay out. So they asked him about like what advice he wanted to give to other people, and it's like, no matter what people tell you, really feel it. Like you're gonna have to go with it and not listen to others. I feel the same with Philip Glass. I think he was misunderstood for quite a while, but has slowly gotten more and more into it, and now we're almost looking at something that's mainstream. I mean, some of his movie scores and integration of his stuff in movies is fabulous. The Illusionist, many other great. And even for me, I think I've had to educate my little musical mind more over time to truly appreciate it. And I just say that because sometimes we kind of judge too quickly. And often with music, what used to be avant-garde at some point becomes mainstream. So we got to be careful not always obsessing about what's hot right now, or Hans Zimmer or John Williams, whatever. Like it's actually, because they're already done that. So what's happening in the ether of the outsides, outer space. Philip Glass is just one of those artists that have just freely moved between many different places, and it's great. Brian Eno, a little bit the same for me as well. Well ahead of their time. And then I have to preface as well, I've heard a lot of people saying like, well, people just don't understand it, it's ahead of its time. And sometimes that's just not true. So how do we know? How do we know if someone is really great and ahead of their time and just full of shit? How do we know? I don't have the answer for it. But I think maybe some of it comes down to the individual and just keep staying the course. If you have something you really want to do, no matter what other people tell you, Because I think if we actually listen to what people, if I had listened to the shit people told me in my life, like I thought I was gonna go to music conservatory, but the guy said like, you're not really poised for this music stuff. That was the advice I got. You know? Yeah, take it all with a grain of salt. I'm just gonna jam a little bit with this user demo here. Someone mentions that Hanya is great, and I completely agree with that. Hanya is great. What happened? In my Apple Music settings, live stream stuff. Apple. No stuff. Well, maybe that's it for user demos. I have one more thing for you guys today, and that's next week's release. We're thinking about like with these live streams that we'll cover like this week's release. And if you guys want to hear more about the Zeus Drummer, I'll happily play for you guys. But if not, I'm gonna switch a little bit in the end of this stream here to our disco guitars. This is coming out next week. No, you did not miss the D-Zone. We're actually doing it right now. I'm just about to get into it. You did not miss the disco guitars. Disco guitars for me has been a really interesting journey because like I'm really like hell-bent on capturing disco in all its variations. We have new disco drums, we have disco strings, now we're doing disco guitars. This first volume is in the vein of vintage disco. So I took like a dozen of my favorite disco tracks and guitar riffs. Then we analyzed them in great depth and then we recorded them. And it's like, I think there's like, I don't know, about a dozen different kits, but there's over 3,700 phrase samples of these disco guitars that can be used in so many different ways. So many different ways. Let me just show you a couple of things I've been working on to give you an idea about what it sounds like. So we're gonna switch to disco now, unless you guys have something else, but I'll keep an eye on the chat here. Find here a couple. The looper. So let's talk a little bit about tempo synchronization. As many of you guys know, with our guitar libraries, you'll notice here as well that we have BPM in them. And let's turn this down a little. So BPM is great, and obviously it would be neat here in the time starter to be able to put in the BPM number and then just have it on the grid. But as I've said in this video here, for me, working on the grid is not particularly rewarding. It's just what we've gotten used to. So we are going to add it to Soundpaint. I would personally never use it. I always work off the grid because it just makes things so much more alive. So for example, with guitars here, disco guitars, and you'll see that particularly next week once we get into it, I never put it on the grid. I'll sometimes trigger things through the arpeggiator if I want to. And it's also because it's played by real human beings. And in the case of disco guitars here, let me know if any of you guys can hear where you think this riff is from. So if we take Good Times, for example, let's switch to another angle here so you can see. So we took the riff of Good Times and then broke it down in so many different chunks. Yeah, Fabian, you got it down. That's exactly what it was. I would never put that on a grid. I would rather just like sit with the looper and kind of be like, just trigger it. And it's not perfect. Life is not perfect. And that's what's so perfect about it. Now, if I'd put that completely on the grid, it would have sounded like the grid as well. So when we talk about BPM sync and all that, and we will add it because I think users have just gotten used to it, and in many ways it's more convenient. It just kills the music. So is convenience always worth it if it ends up killing the music? You know, we have AIs, we have auto tunes, we have so many tools that are McDonald's for the ear. I think for us, it's almost about the opposite. It's about being messy, you know, dirty pixels, dirty something. I don't. It's hard for me to describe it. Aaron is asking, those guitar chops could be used in any genre, really. Like I heard hardcore rap beat with funky guitars. Yeah. Oh my goodness, and you'll see that. I mean, I have plenty of examples here. Let me give you another example. So this one here is using, we have these wah-wah fragments, and the way I use this library is that I'll just build up a little groove like this. This is actually using a couple of different kits that are just layered, and I just try to build up a little bit of a groove. You can hear it's imperfect. Then a little bit of drums. I wanted to go back to, for those of you guys who were around the 80s, there was a style called electro, and it was often with the 808. So this is using the 808 and the 522 that we looked at on earlier together. It's so sweet, and this is what I'm saying about combining different kits together. It's not necessarily disco, so to your point, like it can be many different things. Then I added our upcoming ARP 2600 synthesizer. I'm so spoiled. I mean, just listen to that baby. Ultra deep sample ARP 2600. Then I thought, like, you know, there's a group called Enigma in the 90s that I really loved that were using often like ethnic elements. And I was like, why don't I try our upcoming, we have a library called Duduk Virtuoso, and try to combine Duduk with this. So Chunkerbot is saying, man, I don't know if I agree with the BPM because some genres are built on precision, but I love your approach and dedication so much. You're right, man. Like, it's like if you want to do like dance music or techno or trip hop or jungle or whatever, like, yeah, all those are grid-based genres, and there are plenty of tools out there for that. But you listen to like top 10 right now and top 40, you're going to be pressed hard to find anything that follows that convention. So for me, I actually think the new school approach is the old school approach. And this thing about being on the grid, I just don't see it so much. If you look at like a lot of genres that are grid-based, they're not as popular anymore. And I don't think it's just about the music. I think it's about counter reaction to the digital world, the algos on social media, how everything is being so conformed with AIs and all that stuff that at some point we want a human experience. And I see and hear that more and more in the ethos, even of top 40 music as well. So you're right in what you're saying. My job is to try to, in the ideal state, to figure out what's coming next. This is what I'm hearing. Things are getting more raw, and I can't wait to hear who's the next Nirvana or the next Bob Dylan. Like, what happened to like songs that talked about real life like stuff, political songs for that matter? Like, no, I think we've gotten a little bit mundane. Anyway, long ramble, man. You're right in what you're saying, and we will get it as well because that's the way most people work. And I would probably change my stance if I could get all this to work as well, but we haven't been able to figure it out. It may just be my lack of understanding of samples. Wouldn't be surprised. But even if you listen to this groove here, this is all played in hand. A little bit like when people work on MPCs, the old Akai like drum controllers. It's not perfect. There's noise in there from the 522. It doesn't have anything to do with disco either, but you know. And by the way, this duduk, I cannot wait to share this library with you guys. We did a library called 3 Duduks, which was like the first sort of taste of Duduks. But then I was like, I think we can go deeper and do one Duduk with a really, really great player and try to capture like the raw emotion of the instrument and all the traditional phrasings, ideally working with someone from the Armenian culture. The gentleman we are recording this with is from Armenia. His family comes from a whole legacy of Duduk makers. I'm interviewing him tomorrow. I can't wait. He's the sweetest guy in the world. And just so much lore and depth to the Duduk. That's one example of it, like using disco on something entirely different. I have another one here as well. For example, this one here. 2 different disco kits mixed together. This is a Moog Model D, also coming soon. Played in hand. You don't want to have that on the grid. You want to feel the funkiness of a human being. Then like a Jupiter 8 on top. You do not want to put any of this on the grid. It just would not work. You know? Gotta feel it. No, it's so weird. I'm realizing, maybe it's the tequila starting to kick in, that I'm contradicting myself. Like, you're saying no to the grid and yes to the grid at the same time. I just don't work on the grid anymore. I'm off the grid, baby. And ideally with like solar panels to power the whole thing as well. So yeah, this is disco guitars. Aaron is asking, if we can use ADSRs and offset, yeah, offset is really valuable when it comes to this. So if we take, let me load another kit here. Let's take the free. So we can go into offset here, or detail mostly. You know, there's so much, like, even within a tiny phrase, like, maybe that I don't want that first, I just want. So the underlying fabric for this line, that sounds so sophisticated. The methodology, that sounded sophisticated too. For fuck's sake, Troels, like, the soul of this library is just to take, like, these songs, these very famous songs, and chop up all these phrases and then have us remangle them. I don't expect anyone, I certainly wouldn't do it myself, to rebuild the actual song. It's just like, there are such good grooves. Is it possible we could make something else out of them, you know? Maybe it is. Oh, this was funny. I was like, all right, gotta try some, like, a little more old school. And I don't know why, but I just heard the X-Files theme in there. So, Fabian, you're asking, you have a question about the disco guitars. I understand most of these are slices and chunks from riffs. We'll be able to play our own notes and chords. Nope. We are locked to the geniusness of the greatest guitar riffs of all time. And as I mentioned, it's over 3,700 samples. There's a lot in each kit. If we take this one here, let me just take it from the top. And take the offset off here. So we have all these improvs up here. That's just sort of jamming on top of the riff. They're all rhythmically, they're all aligned in rhythms, so they're all tight grid-wise that way. But the idea is really like to just sit and combine fragments. And hopefully create something new out of it. But no, it's not like you can take a chord and it will play that chord. This is a completely different philosophy for sampling. It's very true to the original songs. And it also, for me, it's limited, but in a good way, because those songs were good enough. And it forces me to work with what I got instead of like giving me the freedom of being able to do everything. So that's why I like to do these libraries in a certain way. There's a soul and a spirit to this that can't be done any other way. Like I mentioned and played a little bit earlier on, like for example, with the wah-wah stuff. Let me find the patch here to give you an example of like this stuff here, in my opinion, just has to be played this way. There's no way around it. So if I take this patch here, you know, that kind of stuff, it just has to be, but because I can do anything I want. Obviously, we have time stretching. These are PCM-based samples, so we're using a new time stretcher. Let me get an example of that. So this one here. And it's round robin based, so you can repeat the same phrase and not get the machine gun effect. That way. So it sort of is what it is. It is all the most famous, a lot of the famous like guitar riffs just broken down and laid out in front of me, so I can use it. We're doing a different volume for modern stuff as well, and I'll take a hint in what you're saying in terms of having more playability on it. I just wanted to have these old songs exactly as they are, knowing that I can pull out different fragments and just like make strange stuff out of it. And it's so funny because like this is good times, but check this out. So this is an attempt of creating like more what we call new disco, which is more modern disco. First, I'm gonna play with like a CS, well, it's a Model D playing the bass and then a CS80 synthesizer playing the chords. Check out how old it sounds. Then I'll switch over to a Juno after that. And the Juno is still used in so much top 40 today. And it's amazing how much more modern it sounds. First, the CS80. So that's the CS80, and now the Juno. I know, Eric, this one was for you. So let's see on the comments here. Imagine having phrases in MIDI, or at least under the hood, being able to copy paste the groove into Ableton Live. Yeah, I agree. These are tricky because every time I hit the key, it's a new round robin, and it's not always going to be the same. So it's one of those, again, one of those libraries that are a little bit like more organic, if you will, like much of Soundpaint. And I think for our approach, we're gonna keep staying in the world of like, you know, it has to be played, because there's so many awesome tools. Ableton Live, Splice, drag in your loops, they all sync so fast. It's great. I use it myself as well. But it's kind of like if I had a box and I could just click a button, and out of that would just come like food. At some point, I would have the desire to cook it myself. You know, I make my own coffee every day, and I love it, and I'm slowly honing in how to make it better and better. And I couldn't do that if I was just clicking a button. So I equal that little bit to the grid as well. I know, I sound like anti-grid person. It's all great, man. There's no right or wrong way. Like, it's not like as if the end listener cares. But for me, it's more gratifying to be able to touch it and sculpt it. You know, like a sculptor, you want to touch your own clay. You want to chisel your own rocks. You want to play your own keys. Does that make any sense at all? Yeah, just a little bit of a taster of. Same here, just a super little, just a groove. I don't know where it came from, one of the kids. Very simple. And I don't, this is probably not disco, it's some kind of like. This one is interesting. So I had this, I made a little synthesizer pattern with the CS80. That is just one fat synthesizer. Then just a basic like disco. And then I was like, okay, how can I use disco guitars in a completely different way? So I just took a couple of phrases and then added a lot of reverbs and just kept playing the same note, and it became this. And I kind of like, it's like, okay, this is kind of cool. Like, it's like, what would like a filmic disco sound like? This is so cool. These are 2 unreleased synthesizers, and I swear when you guys have them, it's the CS80 and the Model D, 2 of the greatest synthesizers ever. But just check how good they work together. And yes, also play those in hand. Like, you can do the arpeggiators on a grid, but try to play the other things in hand. The best example of this I can offer is if you listen to Thriller and Greg Fillingen's beautiful keyboard playing, that bass, he played through the whole song in hand. And if you hear him talk about it, like, he attributes so much of the soul and the groove of that song to the fact that everyone had to play it through. It wasn't on the grid. Sort of the same argument. And then I had this strange melody in my mind. So Glockenspiels and Dastra. Does this make any sense at all? Or am I just officially losing it? I love the syncopation. Da, 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 da. We also have the disco guitars come in like 2 different kind of kits. They come in like amp versions. We had a strong internal discussion about like, what do vintage disco guitars sound like? Were they amped or were they not? And I love clean sounds. I'm not so much on amped overdrive, but Darren that recorded was like, well, sometimes they use it. So we did both. So we have both amped, like sweet vintage profiles with like slight saturation and warm analog overdrive. Then we have more clean modern kits. But I want to say this first volume here is really like vintage disco. Super simple. Those little like funky licks for me have a lot of imperfections in them as well. Also why I wouldn't necessarily put them on a grid. Oh, this one. This one here. I don't know what went wrong. And then I was like, let's try to add like you guys are so sweet. I have no clue how to play at all. I'm not a player. I just noodle. I just noodle all day long. I wish I could sing as well. That's a good point. Anyway, this was all I had for you today. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, I can hang around for a little while. If not, we're gonna wrap it up. It wasn't so bad. How bad were the ums? Did I skip a lot of sips? Or was it okay? Am I getting better? Because last time it was really obnoxious how much I said It was, yeah. Let me play one more time, Chunker, so you can hear it. It was indeed Star Wars. Kurt, I did not see your comment. Would you mind? I must have missed that one. So let me know what you said. Did you notice my comment on the stream from last week? I did not. So tell me what that comment was, please. Yes, Shimmy is going to show up soon. He's been touring with Chris Body for a while, the great trumpet player. Yeah, Shimmy's actually recording some of our next synthesizers as well, and has been very helpful also in terms of developing CAF and many other things. He actually did all the presets for CAF as well, many layers. He's incredibly talented in so many ways. I don't know if you guys ever heard him play, but he's a phenomenal bass player as well, and very deep in synthesis. We actually have a new thing coming up called Coffee Time, where I'm lucky enough to talk to a variety of different artists, and we have one with him as well. Slightly baked Tower of Power brass section. I would love to sample Tower of Power. It's one of my big dreams to have it. I've been working on it for a while, and I would love to record. I mean, the section has changed a little bit over the years, but that would be like the greatest honor to record them and really have like that brass sound. I'm with you, so with you. Power. Kurt is saying, got to know Soundpaint last year, watched all the sound advice videos from first to last. Thank you, man. But still find the UI overwhelming sometimes. Any chance time spent on this in the live? So, Kurt, I tend to cover a lot of different small things about the UI in these live sessions. It's the way I designed Soundpaint was to be very simple in a way, and yet deep underneath the surface as well. So people can sort of choose if they want to have like an advanced or a simplistic experience. I mean, in a way, if I strip the UI here completely and I go into the parts section, you may know that we have programs and parts. And I just drag in, say, a piano. Remember, there's nothing here. This is a instance. I take our 1928, drag it in, whoop, and now I have a piano I can play. And I don't need more than that. You know? So the engine can be this simple. Simply just drag in one thing, you know, whatever instrument you want. Oh, we got Requiem here as well. We got choirs coming soon. It's so good. So that's the simplicity of Soundpaint. You can just drag in a part and play. But there's a lot more to it than that. And we are, I don't know if you saw, Kurt, we've released a couple of videos for what's called CAF, which is our filters. You can actually access them from inside of the engine here as well, under filter and tutorials. This will link to YouTube videos where we're talking about how to use filters. I think it's, to which you respond, I think it's mostly the part below of the parts where you have the filters, etc. I see. So it's all the stuff down here. It's all the modulations. It's the filters. It's the racks and all that stuff. I'd be very curious to get a better understanding of what you feel that we haven't covered, because in the Sound Advice Season 1, we went through all of these things here. We've just added filters, to which we have tutorials down here. We have tutorials for effects as well. I think maybe one thing we haven't touched enough upon, this is where it gets deep, is the matrix. So you may know that you can right-click on virtually anything in Soundpaint. This is that idea of shortening from your thoughts to your creation. Say you have a time stretch here, you want to time stretch the piano, or the choir, I guess. You can right-click on most things in Soundpaint and assign them to whatever you want. And that's where we get into the modulation. So say you want the swelling on the choir. You can right-click that and say, hey, I want to use that on my mod wheel, blah, blah, blah. And you can do that for most things in the engine. And then they get recorded inside of the matrix here, which is where things tend to get complicated for a lot of users. So I get it. But let me know a little more about what you would like to see. We need the rest of the big Star Wars. I don't know if it's the limit of the true color scheme or that blocks the UIs are very hard to distinguish from each other. I see, Kurt. So Soundpaint is essentially a modular engine. The idea is that you can make it to what you want. It's your engine. It's a little bit like Sonic Lego. So if you want to insert a rack, you can. But as I just showed you, you don't have to use it. You can just like play straight away. But to your point, like, you know, a lot of libraries have unique layouts and all that stuff. And how does it actually work? It probably takes a little while to get used to this sort of modular layout. I find it incredibly rewarding, but I also built the damn thing, so maybe that's my limit. Ian is asking, is there any chance of a Soundpaint related interview and talk with Thomas Bergersen? Thomas and I have been best friends for decades. We just spoke yesterday, actually. And yes, there's not just a chance of it, you definitely will, and in many more ways than I can possibly describe right now. Thomas and I have spent quite some time on discussing the future of samples, if you will. ARNYFN says, hi Troels, I confess that one of my motivations for buying your libraries is because you're such a good guy. Right, looks can be deceiving. Am I a good guy? What constitutes a good guy in your eyes? No? I think I feel very grateful, and even though that we're living in crazy times right now, I still feel grateful and try to focus on all the things that makes me happy and mindful of my surroundings as well. Does that make me a good guy? I don't know. Aaron, true simple usage deep capabilities. Aaron Choirs. Kurt says, I think it's mostly the part below the parts. Yeah, we said that already. Like Requiem, take the BPM 170 will help us sing. Yeah, no, I know with the synchronization, and we'll come back to it as well, we will be adding to the time here. We just get a lot of questions regard to like tempo sync. There will be a tempo sync in here. It's gonna happen. Promise. It says, I think it might be the habit of use, but also sometimes the hard to follow focusing on things changing swiftly. Kurt, hang on, man. Join the live streams, and you can always ask. This is why we have these streams. I would love to show you how it all works. In a way, it's simple, and in a way, you can go very deep in it. Another way I like to use the engine, and I'll just do a completely clean slate here, is to go into our parts section here, then go into this guy here, and I'll click 1 and 2, and then click the dice, and it'll generate random instruments for me. So this is a game board and a choir. Wow. And I'll just keep clicking. Baritone, saxophone, and ensemble of timpanis. That's Vivaldi violins for you. So opera singer and flute. That's kind of cool. That's another way of using it without, without getting into the complexities. Just randomize your stuff and see what happens. Jackson Pollock sound-wise, just explosions of sound. Anyway, thank you guys for all your questions. Thank you for hanging out on the live stream. Next week should be fun as well. We got disco guitars, we have duduks, we have new synthesizers, we have many, many things. And in regards to Thomas Bergerson, I can't go into it right now, but I think we'll all be positively surprised. He's a unique force in terms of music, and also just an incredibly artist on many, many levels. His intellect is one of the brightest people I've ever met. Many, many domains of life. Just an extraordinary individual. What's the drink of choice next week? Well, that depends. Like, how bad was the ums in this one here? Was it bad? Was it bad? No, I probably don't pick it up. There was. I almost feel like I just want to say to like drink more tequila. No, D-Zone, I tried the coffee tequila. I had one night where I was just having a good time. Then I was like, shit, like, again, like, I love tequila, I love coffee, let me mix it. It did not work out. Sorry. Not advised. Yeah, Chunker, you're right. No. But sometimes we have to try. Maybe this is a little bit about what Soundpaint is about as well. It's actually about trying shit, like trying new things and see what happens. And as you can see, I make many errors in these streams here. That's okay. But it's really, really quick for drafting. Once you get that idea, it's like, oh, and for me, for the most part, it's stuff I haven't done before. Because if I keep reciting the same thing over and over, I won't get anywhere. By the way, I got a question early on that keeps being in the back of my mind, and someone is asking like, if I'm gonna do other video games. I've been super fortunate to score most of the games I really wanted in my life, and there's a couple that emerging games that actually from smaller developers that I would love to. I find some of them, I'm very interested in realism in games and emotion in games. I do feel that the medium has not matured to those of us who are a little bit later into life, and I would love to work on games that are a little more rewarding, not just shooting aliens and all that stuff, but like then I sometimes get hired. I got hired for both of the Overwatch games to sort of modernize the sound, and I still do that occasionally at a sort of sound consulting basis. But there's a couple of titles out there that I'm getting a little bit curious about. I haven't scored a game. I think Overwatch 2. I think it was the last one I did. But we'll see. I gotta feel inspired, and I think games. It's interesting, but just because it's a field that's near and dear to me. If you take all music, all movies, all TV combined in terms of revenue, it's still less than what video games are making. I think as we go into the future, particularly once we get into AI and people can virtually create any game they want in real time, it won't be called video games anymore. We're looking at the dawn of a new form of entertainment and media that will be all immersing. And Soundpaint is actually, in a way, designed to be a part of that as well. Once we get a little bit deeper down the line, that's one of the reasons it has this sort of specific look. You may notice that we don't have any knobs. You don't have nothing you can turn. It's because we work on horizontal screens. It doesn't make sense to have something that's round and and the mouse is not conducive to circular movements. Hence why we only have sliders, and so forth. Yes, it is dangerous stuff, and I almost fear for the future of video games in terms of, if we thought the phone was addicting and current technologies, wait till you see what's coming down the lane. What's going to happen to a human and all our endorphins once we can have everything we can imagine. Caution in that regard. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed these streams here, and till next week, same time, Saturday. And yeah, I'll figure out what my choice of drink is going to be. Thanks so much.